In this video, I'll show you how to integrate Microsoft Excel with Certifier to automatically create and send a certificate every time a new row is added to your spreadsheet. Hi there, my name is Uliana and I'm a product manager here at Certifier. If you are tracking course completions, event attendance, or training records in Microsoft Excel, this native integration eliminates all the manual certificate work. No mail merging or additional automation tools. Just add a row to your Excel file and a certificate is sent out automatically. This video consists of multiple chapters shown on the screen right now. Click on any chapter in the timeline below to jump to that section. So, let's get started. When it comes to sending your Microsoft Excel data to Certifier, there are two main options. The first option is to bulk issue certificates just one time. It means you already have a spreadsheet with all of your recipient data and want to generate those certificates for everyone in one go. For that scenario, we prepared a separate video guide, which you will find linked in the description below. The second option, and the one that I'll be covering today, is to automate certificate issuance. In this setup, every time a new row is added to your spreadsheet, Certifier generates and sends a certificate. And this is exactly what Certifier automations are built for. Certifier automations work on a very simple principle. Every workflow has two parts, a trigger and an action. The trigger is the event that starts the automation, and the action is the event that your automation performs. The real strength of this setup is that Excel can act as a bridge between other tools and Certifier. A survey, questionnaire, a registration form, your CRM or LMS, they all can feed data into an Excel spreadsheet. Each time new information appears there, Certifier automatically issues a credential within a few minutes. And if you would like to see how this works specifically with Microsoft Forms, we've got a separate guide linked in the description. You can also work directly in Excel by filling the rows manually. For example, you might maintain a spreadsheet where you or your team enter recipient details one by one. Once a row is complete, Certifier will detect it and issue a corresponding certificate within a few minutes. This method is useful, and it is actually the one I'll demonstrate today simply because it clearly shows how the automations work. However, keep in mind that the real value of this integration comes when your data flows in from other systems, because that's where Certifier automations save you the most time. To get started, we recommend copying a sample Microsoft Excel template that we've prepared in advance. You will find it linked in the description below. To create a copy of our sample spreadsheet, start by opening the file. Click File, then select Create a Copy and choose Download a Copy. Once the file is saved to your computer, go to Excel for the map in your Microsoft 365 account. Click Upload a File and select the spreadsheet you just downloaded. If you already have your own spreadsheet and don't want to use the template, it's okay. Just upload it in the same way. What really matters here is that your file should be stored in the cloud, in either OneDrive or SharePoint. Local files saved on your computer won't work with this integration. As you can see, our sample Excel template comes with 3 sheets inside. Instructions and tips, which gives you a quick overview and lists some important rules that we'll go through later. Input sheet, where you can draft recipient data manually. And live sheet. This is the one that Certifier monitors for new rows. If you are running an automated flow, your external tool like a CRM, LMS, or a form should all push data straight to the live sheet. If you are working with a manual flow, that's where the input sheet comes into play. You should always draft your data here first and only move fully completed rows into the live sheet. The reason for that is simple. Certifier processes every new row it detects, and if a row is only partially filled when it's picked up, the certificate won't be issued because there is missing or invalid data. Also, whichever spreadsheet or flow you decide to go with, make sure your sheet starts empty and only add data to your file after making the automation live. One more important note here is that the Excel automations run on a 15-minute polling interval, which means that the new rows aren't picked up straight away. Instead, Certifier checks your spreadsheet every 15 minutes and processes any new data it finds. In other words, when you add new rows, you might need to wait a little before they appear in Certifier, since they'll be handled during the next polling cycle. Now that we prepared our Excel spreadsheet, let's move on to creating the automation in Certifier. To start, head over to the Automations tab in your dashboard and click Create Automation. From there, you will see a Templates gallery. The gallery includes not only the Microsoft Excel template, but also templates for apps like Google Sheets and Google Forms. By the way, we prepared dedicated videos on those, and you will find the links in the description below. Now, select the template titled Issue a Credential via Certifier when a new row is added in Microsoft Excel and press Use Template. After that, you'll be redirected straight to the automation canvas. The canvas shows two blocks: a trigger, a new row is added in Microsoft Excel, and an action, Certifier issuing a credential. Let's start by configuring the trigger first. For that, click on the trigger block to open the configuration. As you can see, the app and event are already pre-configured, so all you need to do is press Continue and move on to the Configuration tab. The setup starts by connecting your Microsoft account. Click Connect Microsoft Excel, choose the account, and grant access. Once the connection is made, your account will appear here as selected. If you ever need to switch accounts, you can do so from the same menu by clicking on Connect New Microsoft Excel Account. Next, you'll need to connect your spreadsheet and worksheet so that Certifier knows where to pull the data from. To do that, start by selecting the folder in OneDrive or SharePoint where your file is stored, and if it's not in any folder, just choose Root. Then, pick the spreadsheet you copied earlier or your oven file if you are not using our template. Finally, select the sheet that you want Certifier to monitor. In our case, the live sheet. As for the optional props you see, do not configure them. Once you are ready, press Submit. And that's it! The trigger is configured. Now let's move on to configuring the action. Click on the action block to open its configuration panel. Just like with the trigger, the app and event are already set up for you, so all you need to do is press Continue to move to the Configuration tab. The first step here is to choose the group where you want the certificates to be issued. Open the group field and then select the appropriate group name from the list. Next, let's map the recipient information. For recipient name, click into the input field and either press the plus button or type in double curly brackets to see the available columns from your spreadsheet. Select the column that holds your recipient names, and in our case, that's column A. If your names are split into multiple columns, such as first names and last names, you can also add them one after another and separate them with a space. For recipient email, repeat the same process, mapping it to the column that stores all of your recipient email addresses. In our case, that's column B. Then it's time to configure the issuance. Set Issue Credential to True if you would like certificates to be issued, or switch it to False if you prefer them saved as drafts. I'll go with True. For Send Credential, leave it set to True if you want certificates to be emailed automatically, or change it to False if you'd rather send them outside of Certifier. We recommend keeping both options set to True so that the whole process is automatic and each generated certificate is automatically emailed to the recipient. If your spreadsheet includes additional information that you would like to use on your certificates, things like scores, locations, instructors' names, or anything else, you can create corresponding custom attributes in Certifier. Once created, these attributes will appear as extra fields down below, and you will be able to map them to the right columns in your spreadsheet, just like we did with names and emails. And here's an important note. Certifier tracks the column positions you mapped, like column A or column B, and not the header labels that you gave to them, like the recipient name or recipient email. This means that once your automation is live, you must avoid reordering your columns or inserting new ones in between, because otherwise the mapping will break. That's why we strongly suggest planning ahead. If you know you will need some extra data, just add those columns before you activate the automation and do not reorder them afterward. Once you're happy with the setup, press Submit to finish configuring the action. And let's now activate the automation. Click Save and Activate, give your automation a clear name, and press Next. You'll see a confirmation warning saying that Certifier will issue credentials for all future rows in your connected spreadsheet. Just a reminder, your connected spreadsheet should be empty, since Certifier automations work best with an empty spreadsheet. What we will do now is check the box and click Confirm and Activate to proceed. And that's it! Your automation is live and ready to process added rows and issue certificates. Let me now show you how this works in practice. I'll open the spreadsheet and navigate straight to the input sheet. Here, let's manually add the recipient data. Once the row is complete, let's copy it and paste it into the connected sheet. Since Excel automations run on a 15-minute polling schedule, new rows won't be picked up straight away. They'll only be processed when the next polling cycle happens. If you would like to check whether that cycle has already run, you can go to the Automations tab in Certifier, click Show Runs on your Automations card, and press Check for new runs. What it does, it updates the number of runs in case a polling interval has already happened in the background. So if you've just added new rows and click check for new runs but don't see anything yet, it simply means that we are still within the current 15-minute polling window and the next new polling cycle hasn't started yet. Once that cycle kicks in, your new rows will be picked up and appear here as processed. We have now waited for a new cycle to complete, and as you can see, new runs have been performed by this automation. Let's switch over to the Credentials tab, and here is the certificate that was issued using the data we entered into the spreadsheet. On the recipient side, they received a fully customized email that includes a direct link to the live version of their certificate. From there, they can share it, verify it, or download it right away. Before we wrap up, there are a few important do's and don'ts to keep in mind when working with Microsoft Excel automations. The key idea here is the integration relies on the exact references. Certifier looks at the specific file name, the specific sheet name, the order of the sheets, and the column positions. For example, column A or column B. If any of those change, the automation won't know where to pull the data from and it will break. So let's quickly go through the rules you need to follow to keep your automation running smoothly. Do not rename your file and sheets. Do not reorder sheet tabs as well as the columns of your sheet. Do not insert columns in between the mapped ones, and do not edit process rows. To correct data, update the already issued certificates in Certifier. Remember to always include name and email, allow 15 minutes for processing, and use the input sheet for drafting the rows if you're leveraging the manual flow. And this is how you connect Microsoft Excel sheets to Certifier. Now you can follow these exact steps to set up your own automation, or if you'd rather have everything written out, there is a comprehensive guide in our knowledge base. You'll find the link in the description below. Just remember that Microsoft Excel processes new rows every 15 minutes, so don't worry if your certificates don't appear instantly. If you happen to have any questions, make sure to reach out to us via chat in the Certifier app, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. For those of you managing multiple workflows or complex setups, I'd suggest booking a call with our integration team. They can walk you through advanced configurations and best practices. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next tutorial.